So to kind of like kickstart um, this process, I looked over and found this good website that asks some very deep questions that I went over with a friend of mine and believed that it would be actually enriching for other people to ask each other these questions. So I'm going to go over a couple of them in this video. If you think that these questions are actually questions that you need to ask someone, please feel free to do so. I don't believe any of these questions are actually detrimental to anybody. I think most of these could benefit people in any way, shape, or form, whether getting them to think more about the question or maybe opening their eyes to something they had never thought about before. So let's just go through a couple of these. The first one is, what is more difficult for you? Looking into someone's eyes when you are telling someone how you feel, or looking into someone's eyes when they are telling you how they feel? I think this question is actually very important because I don't think many people actually consider this when they're looking into perhaps a relationship, either a friend or past a friend. I know personally, whenever someone tells me how they feel, it feels much more personal because they're so vulnerable and you can't really do anything but sit there and just watch. And it's kind of empowering. At that moment, you know that that person trusts you and that they know that if you take this and just like destroy it, then you can literally destroy who they are. And that's one of the most susceptible things that you could do to somebody. And nowadays, I think that that kind of trust is hard to come by, and then when it does come by, a lot of people tend to misuse it. So, if you ever find out or have someone confess their feelings to you, or you confess feelings to someone, make sure that number one, there's someone that you actually have those feelings for. Number two, that they're going to respect your opinion and everything you have to say, and that in the end, it's not just something that's going to blow off 2 seconds later. The second question is, think of the last time you were really angry. Why were you angry? Do you still feel the same way? Now, I don't think many people actually think about why they got angry. I think most of us just tend to be okay with getting angry and then just letting it blow by. But to actually realize why you got angry is pretty essential in life. Because if you think about it, if you can figure out why you got mad at a certain individual or topic or something that was discussed, then you can actually key and look down at yourself and realize what kind of person you are, what makes you tick, what makes you, mad at people. And if you learn that one time, you can definitely save that for the other times to where you won't get mad again for that same reason. Number three is you are on a flight from Honolulu to Chicago nonstop. There is a fire in the back of the plane. You have enough time to make one phone call. Who do you call and what do you tell them? Believe it or not, I've actually thought about this kind of question before, because it's just one of those things you don't know. Like, life is crazy. You never know what's going to happen one moment and it suddenly just takes a complete turn for the worse the next. But I think if you need to actually have this in mind one day, even if you don't think it'll ever happen to you, it doesn't have to be a plane. It could be a car ride. You could be at your school and something happens. But you just need to have in mind, like, who is the number one person in your life and why would you call them? What would you tell them? Would you tell them that you love them? Would you tell them you're sorry? And if so, what can you do now to make sure that if that moment actually happens, that you wouldn't have to have explaining 1,000 things at once, that you could go with a sense of closure and not having to remend all of these things at once. Because if that situation ever, unfortunately, ever happened to somebody, I don't believe that they would have enough time to actually successfully make up everything to that person. And then the last question that I'm going to go over is, you're at a doctor's office and he has just informed you that you have approximately 1 month to live. Do you tell anyone or everyone that you're going to die? And what do you do with your remaining days? Would you be afraid? Personally, lately, this has actually been a question that I've had to deal with, and I don't think I would ever tell anybody, just personally, because I feel like bringing that onto someone would kind of like stress them out a lot, because now if it's someone that didn't know you a lot, now they have to cope with, well, this guy is potentially dying. Do I, do I do everything I can to actually know him, or do I just keep it what it's going right now? And if you tell everyone, how are you going to respond to that? Because then every single person that you will talk to for the rest of your remaining days knows that you're dying. So do you either live with one, the thing of knowing that no one knows you're dying, but you're living your life, or two, that everyone knows and everyone's trying to make your life better for those couple of days? And being afraid, like, it's honestly okay to be afraid if you're going to die, but I think you should just look at it with a sense of, closure, or just become at ease with yourself and that what around you, because if this ever happens to you, and hopefully it won't happen anytime soon for anyone watching this, that you can say that you lived a full and complete life when you were doing all of the things that you did in your life, and that after this ever happened to you, you found this out, that you can actually say, you know what, it's bad, but I'm going to be able to move on from this.